I'm going to do a little bit of streaming today. Probably not a particularly long one still. My cough is getting better, but it still kind of comes and goes. So still not back to 100% quite yet, but okay. We can do a short stream, a little bit earlier than usual today. Um, Probably going to be doing these will be shorter and a little bit earlier probably for a while because I don't know if I mentioned this on I think I did. I think on the last stream I had mentioned that my wife broke her hand, so I have to help her with a lot of stuff, which I'm happy to do. But she usually gets home in about an hour, so I will, help her with getting her stuff out of the car and that type of thing. Because if I don't, she'll try to do it herself, and her hand will be broken, or at least not fully healed for longer, which I don't want. So I am happy to help out. It's just tough because it's her good hand. It's her dominant hand. Which I don't even know what I'd do if I broke my good hand. Oh boy. I mean, just obviously I wouldn't be able to stream, but geez, some people are more. Let's put it this way: I'm not very ambidextrous, so yeah, it's not the easiest thing. I'm trying to think how I would eat. I mean, luckily the fingers she broke, it was really kind of the outside of her hand. So she does have her thumb and pointer and middle fingers available. So, she can eat with a fork and stuff like that. But like cutting anything is difficult, and it's one of those things. So, in any event, yeah, I want to make sure I'm gonna wrap up. Like I said, I'll probably go for about 40 minutes, and then I'll wrap up because I want to be ready, in case she leaves a little early or something like that, just so that I can help her. Because I don't mind helping, and yeah. So, and like I said, I will try to catch any coughs. I will try. The coughs are now less frequent, but more intermittent, meaning they just kind of. A lot of times they kind of come out of nowhere on me. So it's strange. It's still just post-COVID stuff. Not bad. Like largely back to normal. The cough is the last little bit of it. The last little bit. Everything else, as far as I can tell, is now resolved, or at least is not bad enough that it matters. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get going here because I'm not going to be doing a totally long stream, so I will get going on this. There we go. Let's make sure that's working. It appears to be working. Let's go ahead and turn this sideways so that I can wait. Oh, wait. Is it going to turn sideways? Did it not? Hold on. There we go. Yeah, better. For this particular image, turning it sideways is better. So, and I'm just keeping an eye on some things. Okay, so let's see where we are. That's the black layer. That's the black layer. Oh, that's a secondary black layer, but we have our sketches here. Where's the sketch lines? There they are. Okay, there's our sketch lines. Let's see what this is. Secondary shadows, primary shadows. So let's go with our primary shadows. We will jump to here. Inking. I believe this is the correct brush. Yes, it is. All right, let's get started. Interesting thing. I don't know how widespread this is, but it's kind of an interesting consideration or a topic to kind of muse about on a Tuesday. The band U2. Interesting one. Because, boy, there sure are a lot of people who hate that band. I've noticed there is a real deep-seated hatred for U2 around. Not everywhere, but it's interesting because there's a lot of both what I would call subtle dislike and overt hatred of the band. And I'll be honest, for myself, I wouldn't call myself a die-hard fan of theirs, but I also do like some of their music. Interestingly, I tend to like their middle albums, whereas I think a lot of people are either, well, I don't know. I don't know how many people like their current stuff. I have not been interested in a contemporary album since I think it was the one that came out before they put it on everybody's iPod and irritated so many people. I think it was How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. It might have been that one, or it might have been the one before. It was the one after. Geez, what was it after? Actually, I'll say it like this. I think the last album that I liked some songs from was, I think Pop came after Zeropa, I'm pretty sure. So it would be Pop. Whichever one of those came second. So it was, if Pop was the last, if Pop was after Zeropa, it was Pop. If Zeropa came after Pop, it was Zeropa. Whatever the later of those two albums were. Was the last one where I really listened to it and liked. I don't think either of those albums I would say I liked the entirety of, but there were songs on there that I really liked. But I would say in both cases, it was probably maybe half of each album. You could combine those two albums into one, and that would be an album I'd listen to all the way through. But before that, I like Joshua Tree. I like that album. I really like Achtung Baby. That's probably my favorite one. And then, wasn't there one after that? Was there one after that, or was Zeropa after that? I can't remember now. And Rattle and Hum, I think, is an interesting album. I don't listen to it often, but once in a while I get in the mood to hear some of those live songs. But like I said, I mean, I wouldn't call myself a super fan of any kind. But it is interesting how many people actively hate the band. And I wonder if that's really because of the music, or is it that they don't like Bono? I'll admit, too, the whole thing where he wears sunglasses all the time, that thing, yeah, that wore on me after a while. Yeah, I don't necessarily think that's that as cool as he seems to think it is. But but he is hardly the only pretentious, lead singer of a band, so I can't even really hold that against him. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the deep-seated hatred. Like I said, I'm not a super fan, so I don't really care. If they disbanded tomorrow, would I be sad? No. Because the albums that I really like are already out, so I just keep listening to them. And again, their modern output has been. I don't even remember the last album. I think I think I tried to listen to the one they loaded on everybody's iPod, and I couldn't make it through it. And I think that's the point where I went, okay, yeah, I think maybe the stuff I need to hear out of this particular group I've heard. But I was re-listening to some of Pop, and I like it. I genuinely do like some tracks off Pop, and I like them a lot. And then the ones I don't like, I really don't like. But honestly, a lot of albums are like that now. The days of an album that's good all the way through are, I don't know. I mean, the single thing has been a thing for a long time. It's certainly not a modern invention. Hold on a minute. I might have to cough. I'm just going to mute myself for a second. Yeah, I had to cough really quick. The modern good all the way through album, I think that's been over for a bit. And that's okay. Like I said, the idea of singles and albums that were really sold for singles, that is not a new concept. It is not. So, I don't want to make it like, that's something that's only in modern music. Some people just don't like any modern music. I'm not one of those people. It's perfectly fine. It's a lot of these things predated modern music, and it's just that it's been turned into a factory type of thing. But let's just see where the secondaries are. Okay, there's no secondaries there. Let me check this one. Secondaries there? Yeah, there's secondaries there. Yeah, this is going to become part of the problem, is I'm going to have too many. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, I'll use layer 59 then. 59 will work. I should call it tertiary. But yeah, there's a lot of just deep-seated hatred of U2 around. A lot of it. Which I don't, that part I don't really, don't get me wrong, I don't, you don't have to like anything you don't like, so it's not even I don't even feel like it's a music thing. It's almost like just this hatred towards the band. And the only thing I can really think is that it's the Bono thing, because I don't know what else it would be. I've never read any, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like I run a YouTube fan news network or anything, but I've never heard anything terrible about the people. I mean, I do remember my drum teacher when I was younger did not like the drummer for U2 because he said, yeah, he's not really doing anything. So that was more of a technical complaint. And I have read that from, that's not exactly a unusual criticism. I think his name's Larry. No, I don't think it's, whatever the drummer's name, it doesn't matter. It has seemed that his contribution to the band has been more of in the pretty boy department as opposed to necessarily talent. Actually, you know what? I think now that I actually think about some of the people I knew back when I was actually playing music, which was a very brief time. I was never that good. So lest anybody think I'm trying to say, well, I'm better. No, I was always at best an okay drummer. It was never going to be something I was going to do professionally. I was outclassed in many ways by many people who had the same little chance of ever being in a band. So that was one where I recognized, I know what my limitations are here, and I just kind of stopped with it. But I remember when I was, I talked to other guitarists and stuff. A lot of people, what's the word for it? They didn't necessarily like the way that the Edge, the guy whose stage name is the Edge, I don't know what his actual name is. They don't really care for his method of playing guitar, which I can't, from a technical perspective. Obviously, somebody who plays guitar will know what I'm talking about, where he does this doubling thing. I don't have any problem with it. I don't care, but I guess purists, if you want to put it that way, are people who are more dedicated to the craft of playing guitar. I could sort of see it, I guess, that they might be a little bit put off by that method of playing guitar. I don't know enough about guitar. It doesn't bother me, but I can understand why some people, and I don't know. I'm not a musician enough, and others would have to kind of weigh in on it who are musicians, on whether this is kind of like how some chefs get very high and mighty on how people treat the ingredients that they cook with, which I'll admit I've never understood that. This whole thing where you must respect the ingredients. I used to, when we watched cooking shows, because my wife and I used to like watching cooking shows, because you could, unlike a lot of reality shows, although they all have the same formula really, you could see the craft, you could see the work that somebody was putting in, unlike a lot of other stuff. But you get these chefs, these celebrity chefs, who would admonish the contestants who didn't treat their fish with respect or something. And you sit there and go, what? Who cares what you do to it as long as it tastes good on the other end? Who cares? Give me a break. It's respect the ingredients. It's so that is a pretension that does genuinely bug me, is when these people talk about, you've got to respect the ingredients. You don't have to respect anything when you're cooking. You make something that tastes good. Come on. As long as you're not putting arsenic in it, you're fine. That's about as much respect for the ingredients as you have to have. Don't poison people. Don't give people food poisoning. But honestly, what do I care what you do to a fish that's dead before you cook it? Go for it. You want to run it over with a friggin', tractor trailer and that makes it tender for you? Go nuts. Treat these things with respect. Come on. That is the refuge of somebody who has been huffing their own vapors for far too long. You've got to treat the ingredients with respect. Okay. All right. Got it. This is not a conversation I'm interested in continuing when this kind of thing comes out. It's that just, and I remember in particular the one thing where one of these people said this was following saying that it was one of the best tasting dishes they'd ever had, but that they had to mark the person down because they didn't respect the ingredients. And I'm sitting there going, okay, yeah, you've officially lost me in the credibility department now. One of the best things you've ever eaten, and yet not enough respect for the ingredients. Okay, got it. Thank you very much. That tells me what I need to know about you. So yeah, but that's what I maybe there's an element of that to why people don't like the band. Again, this is not me arguing that people should like U2 or not. I really don't care. But it's I've always been sort of fascinated by this, what feels like a deep level of hatred that the band has engendered in some places. It's fascinating. I don't know if it's a personality thing or if it is a talent thing. It's interesting to me because you really see a lot of it. But the only reason I thought of that is because I was listening to some tracks off pop earlier today, which I do still like. But, music's like anything else. Any other creative endeavor, it's a highly subjective thing that there are people who are going to really like certain things and really dislike certain things. And sometimes there is no real rhyme or reason to it. It's just how people react to different things that they take in. And that's okay, too. I don't mind that. I actually love the fact that there is something that, to me, is interesting about people who really, truly hate you, too. So I sit there and go, interesting. All right, well, you can't say they haven't inspired a reaction. If you hate them that much, then they have done something. They have gotten a reaction, which is honestly what many people would consider the mark of good art, is to inspire a reaction, positive or negative. Okay, I was really afraid I did that on the wrong thing, but I didn't. So, yeah. Outside of that, I don't really have much to talk about today. Don't have a particular high topic list for you today. Just, like I said, felt like doing a little streaming because I have some time. Doing it now, so that my wife does not overexert herself on her hand. I mean, her hand looked, first couple days, where she still thought maybe she hadn't broken it. It was pretty clear to me she broke it, because your hand shouldn't swell that much if all you did was give yourself a bruise. And the fact that it was swollen without much discoloration, I knew that was not a bruise. But, I was hoping not, because I knew it was her good hand. So you don't want somebody to have a broken thing. But my first thought was, yeah, you're going to be getting an X-ray, because that, to me, without any medical training, sure looks like it's busted. If my hand looked like that, I would not even have waited a day or two. I would have been, oh, okay. So fortunately, it's not a particularly painful break. And like I said, she got lucky to some degree, because where the break is, she can still largely use her hand. Because, man, at first I was really kind of, when they said it was broken, I was kind of like, oh, man, are they going to have to put her entire hand in a cast? Because it's tough to your non-dominant hand. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that's simple. You get used to having two hands. Not having one, even for a short time, is definitely disruptive. But if it's a non-dominant hand, you generally, I think, can get around a little bit easier. But I was just happy when I saw the cast and the stuff, and it was just really the two, I guess, ring finger and pinky finger are really the only ones that are restricted. So she got lucky there too, because that really could have, if she'd broken it more centrally, they would have had to do the whole hand. So fortunately, the break is not one that, as far as they can tell, will require any type of surgery. And they told her basically about a month, I think, that they're expecting her to have a cast on. So that's not bad. Because you think about how much you use your hands for things. I mean, everything. Just every little everyday thing, man. Driving, all the rest of it. You use your hands for lots of stuff. Like so many things. It's kind of like if you break a foot, if you break a hand. You just really become aware of how much stuff you do. Every once in a while, honestly, it has nothing to do with this. This predated the hand breaking. But every so often, I will just sit down and kind of look at both of my hands and move my fingers and try to have an appreciation for the fact that my hands work. Because, you don't know. I mean, even outside of a break, you can have, there's a lot of reasons why you can start to lose dexterity. Whether it's severe arthritis or, what's the other, there's something else joint related that I'm forgetting the name of. But there's lots of things that can, especially as you age, that could, I mean, God, if I were to lose my right hand, which is what I'm drawing with right now, boy, that would be I would have a tough time with that, because I am nowhere near able to draw effectively with my left hand. I mean, I could probably, I guess, if I was forced to, I could learn, just like so many things. If you don't have a choice, you'll learn. Because I really can't imagine I would just stop drawing. But boy, the amount of training, not even retraining. Retraining implies that my left hand was ever any good at drawing. It never has been. So to train my left hand to be able to draw. Oh boy, that almost gives me a shiver down my spine to think about, to try to be able to get my left hand to be able to draw. I don't even like thinking about it. Because I mean, here, I've got the, I'll just show you. I now have the Apple Pencil in my left hand, which I can't even grip correctly. I'm going to attempt to just draw an eyeball. Now, as a comparison, I'll do it with my, this is my right hand. So right here, switch to this. Just so you can see. This is, all right, so here, I'm going to, and this is, I mean, don't get me wrong, this is going to be rough, but you'll see the difference. Right? Okay, so here's an eye. Doing like a standard eyeball. I mean, I'm doing this quick, but, you know, let's do an eye. Do that. Okay, and then this, you know, this, put the lines there. The little thing there. Get some lines off there. But, you know, essentially, here's the eye. Here is an eye. Right? Now, that's quick and dirty with my right hand. Very quick. Okay? I'm now going to attempt to do the same thing or something like it with my left hand. Watch this. Jeez, I can't even... Oh, man, I can't even... that was an accident. Okay, hold on. This is so bad. Trying to... Oh, man, it's so unnatural. I mean, I can kind of... Oh, my thing just disappeared. Hold on, sorry. 1 second. Bear with me. God, this is so bad. It'll come back in a second. It should come back in a second. Okay, hold on. It's coming back. I can see it. All right, there we go. Let me go back here. All right, so I stopped when it went. Okay. Oh man, this is so hard to do. I mean, the amount of. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's somewhat serviceable, I guess, but the effort that I am exerting to try to get. No, I mean, look at the two. There's right hand, left hand, doing the same thing. Now, granted, it's quick and dirty, but still, you can see the difference. And what you couldn't see was how difficult it was for me to manage that, to try to get my hand to react, because I'm so used to drawing right-handed that my reactions, my way of moving is geared towards the right hand. I mean, it's... boy, that was... scary. That's why I say it terrifies me, the idea of losing my right hand. So anytime there's anything going on, if you were to ever see me, you'll notice I tend to shield my right arm and sort of put my left hand and left arm in front, because I want them to take the brunt of whatever, you know, if there's something where I think I'm going to get hit with something or whatever, I instinctively shield with the right. Even though most people, with their dominant hand, they put it up as a guard, I'm used to doing it with my left because I know my right hand is how I draw. So it's a weird instinct to have, but anyway. So yeah, oh boy. That's the first time I've even attempted to draw with my left hand in a very, very long time. I mean, there's a part of me that thinks I should start gearing my left hand a little bit more, just as a, you know, I have the whole backup mentality for so many other things, but not for my art. So it's not like I can, I don't know. I mean, I know they say you can make yourself ambidextrous, but can you? If you have no prior kind of predilection, is that the right word for it? If you have no prior indication that you can be left-handed, or ambidextrous, I should say, can you just train it? You know, I should read about it, because it's probably not the worst idea. Who knows? I could be in a car accident tomorrow and my right arm could get severed right off. In which case, I mean, don't get me wrong, drawing would not be the first thing on my mind for a while, but there would be a point where I'd be like, oh no, what am I going to do? I can't, I have no right arm anymore. How am I going to draw? I mean, that's nightmare fuel. I have had the nightmare of losing my arm. I've had that before. And that's one of those where I almost instantly snap awake once I realize what's happened. It snaps me right out of the dream. The terror of not having my right arm. But I have had it more than once, where some kind of traumatic thing has happened to my right. Usually it's the entire arm is gone, but specifically the right hand. I have had things where I've gotten shot in the hand and, you know, like put my hand in a machine press, which would never ever really happen. But yeah, that dream has absolutely happened, because it is a deep-seated fear is, oh man, what happens if I lose my hand? Or, my right arm. And I assume we all have those types of things. That the thing that we fear, usually related to a skill or, whatever. Don't get me wrong, there are worse things. In my family, I have dementia all over the place. So that's really the thing I should be afraid of, is forget the arm. I'll probably just lose my mind at some point. But the thing that typically shapes the fear response is losing the arm. So, what's funny? I think this drawing is actually finally almost done. I've been working on this for how long? However long I've been streaming, this is one of the second or third things I did. So I've been drawing this for a very, very long time. And I think it's finally almost done. It might not be done on this particular stream, but it's sure not going to take too many more because I'm into the deep level shading on it. I'd have to actually take a good look at it and see where I am in terms of... Because I don't think there's any more shading areas to do after this. I think this is it. Is that the last? Yeah, this is the last one. Wow. Interesting. Yeah. This is... I'm going to do some more highlighting and that type of thing, but this is essentially pretty close to done. Oh, I see you. I see what I did there. Which I kind of didn't even notice. That sort of snuck up on me. I mean, I knew at some point I was going to have to finish the thing, but I've just kind of gotten used to this being the eternal streaming project in between other stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I'll have to think about it. Haven't even considered it. Just kind of been floating around with this one, which has been fun. Because this started off as such a simple, literally throwaway type drawing, and it has grown well beyond that. Okay, let's see. Well beyond it. I like this kind of style of shading. I don't know that I would do it often. I'm not sure it's something I'll do a lot, but I think in the right context for the right image, it's a fun thing to do. It just takes a while compared to a lot of the ways that I usually do shading, but that's not a bad thing. It's just something different. Just something that's interesting. And it doesn't feel as... In some ways, it's a little bit freer than how I normally do shading. Because, I'm making mistakes left and right in here in terms of evenness and that type of thing, and you can't tell. It doesn't matter. Really, it doesn't have any bearing on it. In fact, if anything, the randomness, I think, is sort of contributing a little bit to it. I think that's somewhat the point of doing something like this. So I kind of like it. It would fit for the right thing. Not everything, but the right thing. And certainly it's fun to experiment with this stuff once in a while. Kind of stretch a little, do little different things, and see how you like them. And it turns out I kind of like doing this, so it's... I think that's a bonus. Yeah, I think that's the end of the shading. I do. I think that's it. Which, yeah. All right. Well, what I may do is I may do this stream a little bit shorter than I planned because I don't really know what I'm going to embark on next with this particular thing. But I think that's it for the shading. I really do. I think that's the end of the shading bit. I don't think I missed anything else. I'm going to look in a second. I just want to clean this up. But yeah, those are all shaded. Jeez, that happened quick. Huh. Yeah, no, the shading's all, that's all the lines I got. Yep, those are all the secondaries. The secondaries are in. Yeah. Wow. Jeez, I didn't think it was going to go that quick. Like I said, I knew it wasn't going to be forever, but what is this? Oh, layer empty. Well, then what's it there for? But yeah, look at that. The shading's all done. That's interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what to... I mean, I have to do more of the shading like that. You can see that shading stuff has to get shadow lines. I don't think I need these anymore. I don't think. But, I mean, I'll leave them. There's no reason I... Okay, these are the blacks that go with the other stuff. Okay. That's okay. Those can stay there. Are these the... yeah, these are the... Yeah. Huh. That's really interesting. It kind of snuck up. I'll be honest, it kind of snuck up on me because I wasn't... I mean, like I said, I knew I was close to being done, but I didn't really realize how close to being done I was with the shading. I thought don't know why I thought I was only at the halfway point, but I'm further than that. So yeah. So we take this, and then we take probably this guy. Yeah, that's about right. I didn't do. Yeah, I'm kind of spitballing some of these, which I don't necessarily love to do. I like to have a little bit more of a plan when I do certain things. I don't mind kind of just doing it, but then there's points where I realize, oh, I've gone overboard or I've done too much, and now it's, I've ruined it. Or not ruined it, but taken it too far, and then I have to do a lot of fixing, which is not ideal. But I'll just wing it a little bit here, because I'm just kind of see what I want to do. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, little accent stuff is okay. And I'll probably do dark ones. So that's probably what I'll do on the next one, is more of this type of thing, where I'm doing these little highlights and kind of, just little accent pieces. But I mean, the bulk of this is done. It really is. The bulk of this is finished now. But I'll go into these areas here, and I'll do some darker stuff in there, and then I'm going to do little light accent stuff here. And just kind of touch it up. But it's largely finished, because honestly, at this point, the risk is you overwork it. You do too much stuff, and then you're just doing things to do things, and I don't want to do that. I don't see any benefit in doing that. I'd rather just wrap it up at a certain point, and then move on to something else than end up doing too much stuff on it. Because I'm feel like I'm right on the verge of that now, with even some of the shading stuff, where I'm saying, don't overwork it. Just kind of get it done, get it wrapped up, because it's been a while, and I'm sure people want to see something new anyway, so I can start figuring out what I'm going to do for the next thing. I have some ideas. Probably a squiggle one at some point. We'll probably do another squiggle one, because those are fun. I may do another kind of kid-centric one. I haven't done one of those in a while, where I draw something just cartoony and fun. Something where I figure out the big shapes of it, and so the kids can follow along. I haven't done one of those. I mean, squiggle ones are kind of kid-centric, but they're also not. They're both. But something that's specifically kind of younger focused. Because I like the idea. Some people have told me they watch the art streams with their kids. That's neat. And I don't, this could be considered scary to some kids. I don't want to, I would like to do stuff that's a little more youth-oriented. Because I do like the idea of kids drawing early and getting used to it, and understanding that you can draw whatever you want. That's always a neat thing. Not that I think I'm any kind of teacher of any kind, but kids tend to look at stuff, and if they see some bumbling fool like me able to do it, then they'll think, oh, I can do it too, which they absolutely can. You absolutely can do it, kids. Do whatever you want. I mean, don't always listen to your parents type stuff, but otherwise, do whatever you want. Don't do drugs, and go to school. Stay in school, not go to school. Stay in school. Yeah, well, go to school and stay in school, I guess. Whoa. Oh no, that line's up. That's on purpose. Eesh. I don't like that. Yeah, I do not like that line. That line is getting annihilated. There we go. Do not like the looks of that at all. So we're going to go ahead and clean that up. God, I don't like that line at all. Goodbye, line. Much better. Thank you. What was I thinking with that? Didn't like that at all. See? You can do whatever you want, kids. You want just to erase lines you did already? Go for it. It's fine. We're not going to judge you here. It's perfectly okay. Let's see. Let's do this one. We'll round that off a little bit. Let me make sure I'm on the right layer. I am. Good. I've already got that there. We'll do a little bit of this here. Okay. And then we'll just shear. Oh, well, not that much. Shear that off a little. Round that a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I'm just doing little bits here. Like I said, just little bits of stuff around, and just to kind of clean up and give some little accent lines here and there, but I don't want to overdo it too much. Don't want to go too crazy here. Yeah. You know what? I think this is a good place to stop. Yeah, I'm gonna Sorry, I'm just looking at it. Why is that like that? That doesn't look right to me. Oh, well, it kind of does. No, it kind of does. Okay, no. I get why I did that. No, that's all right. That's all right. That is all right. Actually, I'm going to, wrong thing. Just to kind of mirror that, I'm going to do a big blotch of it here too, just so that it doesn't look like only one side has a large amount, because it looks a little funny because it's on its own. But if I have other areas where basically I'm saying big bits of light are catching fleshy bits, then it makes a little more sense. Because this just looks odd by itself. So I need to do a little bit more of like big areas, just to kind of balance it a little bit, make it look like it's more intentional. You know, that's the idea. You just fake that it looks on purpose, even if it really doesn't, or really isn't, I guess, because I clearly forgot about that area. But gee, it doesn't matter in the end when you did it or how you did it, just that you did it. Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be a big block like that either. These little bits that are just a little bit more filled out, they'll in their, in their quantity, they will offset the heaviness of that particular. Although I really should probably, let's chop a little bit of this out, because this is really heavy and unbroken. So I'm gonna flow that out a little bit, just to break up that whole mass just a bit, because this really shouldn't be like that. This should be, let's say, like this. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, because see that there should be a, yeah, hold on a minute, let me fix this. This color should be breaking up some of this, so we're going to do this. Oh, I see what I did. So let me take this, let's do this. See, that looks more correct to me than the white going straight into that dark area. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's better. Still a little bit off, but I can fix that. It's just a little bit of trimming and moving things around, but we'll be all right there. Yeah, there we go. And let's just bubble that up and around. See that yeah, that looks better. That looks more like I did it on purpose, which is what I'm aiming for. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So let's put a little bit. You know what? Let's put a big section right here. Just kind of move that around, and do that right there, and just go off. Come on. There we go. Just again, I'm just trying to, I don't want it to seem like there's just this one odd spot of brightness. So especially on something that's blobby and baggy and globby like this, you would have weird little areas of grabbed light. So that actually does make more sense too. I don't want to do too much of it though. I don't want it to become overwhelming, but I think that's probably good. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop now. I think this is where I'm going to take a break, because this is actually in good shape. So I'm going to stop here, and then on the next stream, I think I'll get more into doing kind of the layers of color in it. But that's a good place to stop, I think, because now all the shading is done. So I'm actually good with where that is. So yeah, I think I'll stop there for today anyway. So yeah, a little bit of a shorter stream. Well, slightly longer than my last one. Last one I think was 30 minutes. So we're getting back to it. But I probably won't be back to a normal schedule for a little while yet. But we're getting closer than farther. Closer than farther. We're closer. Whatever. I'm not going to be able to speak English obviously in the next 10 minutes. We're getting there. So we're getting back into the routine. So yeah. So thanks for stopping by. And I hope you have a nice rest of whatever, because I know in Australia it's a day ahead, so I can't even say the rest of Tuesday. So I hope that whatever day it is, and however much of it is left, is good. And if you can, get out there and create something, or stay inside and create something. You don't have to go anywhere. You can draw at home too. But create something if you can. Take a few minutes, do a little doodle, take a picture of something nice with your phone, write something if you're a writer. I don't know if musicians can just compose things quickly. It doesn't seem like most of them can, at least the ones I know tend to take a while. So can't say you could just, I don't know, you could play drums on your desk or something. But it's in some way, try to create a little bit if you can. And otherwise, yeah, whatever day and time it is, have a wonderful rest of it. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next stream. Take care, everybody.